All right, hope you had a great weekend. Happy Monday to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. It is time to check out what's sizzling, what's happening in the tropics. Of course, we're still in the month of July, the second month of hurricane season 2024, and we've already been hit by Category 1 Hurricane Beryl. Just 2 weeks ago, we were slammed with 70 to 100 mile per hour wind gusts and over a foot of rain for parts of Houston. A lot of you still trying to recover and clean up from the mess that Hurricane Beryl left across the area. It blew down a lot of fences, uprooted a lot of large trees, just caused so much damage. Still traffic lights out from a couple weeks ago across parts of Houston. So we're continuing to recover. The good news is that things are quiet for now, but just the second month of hurricane season, we've already had not one, not two, but 3 named systems: Alberto, Beryl, and Chris. Of course, we got that direct hit from Hurricane Beryl. The next name on the list would be Debbie, and thank goodness Debbie is not showing up just yet. Quick look at our tropical satellite will show you that we do have some areas of disturbed weather, some showers and storms in and around the Central and South America regions and over into parts of Mexico. A few showers and storms in the Western and Southern Caribbean Sea, even a few areas of disorganized showers and storms out in parts of the Atlantic. A few little disturbances, if you will, as we are checking out the Atlantic Ocean, but we still have a lot of that Saharan dust coming off the coast of Africa, and it is super thick across much of the Atlantic, still pretty thick in the Caribbean, and getting a little thicker across the Gulf of Mexico. So as long as we have that thick dust around, it's going to be hard and very difficult for these potential tropical systems to kind of gain strength and grow into something pretty ominous. So I think through the rest of July, we should be okay. I'm not really expecting much tropical development. But as we get into August, this Saharan dust will kind of start to clear out a little bit, and we're going to be left with a lot of warm water out there, and that is when things could get a lot more interesting. So don't let your guard down. Yes, we've already had 1 hurricane, but there could be more action headed our way. We're getting to the part of hurricane season that is typically the busiest, August and September. But here's the good news. For now, no tropical cyclone activity expected for the next 7 days. So at least we've got another week for things to be fairly quiet, at least tropics wise, and you have a little more time to try to clean up from Beryl, and we can keep our fingers crossed and hope that we don't get anything else headed our way from the tropics, hopefully for the rest of the season. So quiet across the Atlantic basin, nothing going on for the Atlantic Ocean, Caribbean Sea, Gulf of Mexico, but let's check out the East Pacific because we do have a couple of systems we're monitoring here. One that is off to the south and west of Mexico, and it's only got a very low 10% chance for development. Generally expect it to track off to the northwest over the next several days. This is likely not going to impact anyone, but we're just keeping an eye on it. Just an area of showers and storms now that could get a little bit better organized and turn into a tropical depression, but it would be moving away from Mexico and away from the U.S. A little bit farther out into the Pacific, we've got another system. This one still fairly disorganized. Over the next couple of days, just a low 10% chance for development, but a slightly better chance. We could maybe have a tropical depression or tropical storm over the next week, a 30% shot. But like I said, it is moving west-northwest just like the other one, and it would be moving away from us. So I don't expect any trouble from either one of those systems, at least not for us, if it were to develop. Of course, we are getting closer to the month of August, and I just want to show you some regions where we typically have a higher shot for tropical cyclone activity. Maybe a few depressions, tropical storms, hurricanes developing. For the Gulf of Mexico, of course, that would impact us the most. There is a likely chance for possible formation, especially across the northern and western Gulf. There is an even higher shot, a more likely chance for maybe a tropical depression, tropical storm, or hurricane to develop across parts of the western Atlantic, right off of the east coast of the U.S. It looks like the best chance for maybe a tropical storm or hurricane to pop up and maybe impact some folks for August would be parts of the central Atlantic and western Atlantic, getting close to those Caribbean islands. So those are areas we are really going to be watching closely for formation. Typically, we have a higher chance for development there, but of course, we're keeping our eyes on all of these locations because water temps are still quite steamy out there, well into the 80s for the Gulf, for the Atlantic, and for the Caribbean. So basically, once we get rid of that Saharan dust, all bets are off. It looks like it could still be a pretty active and pretty busy remainder of the hurricane season. Typically for the month of July, we don't get much action, but we've already been hit by a hurricane. So hopefully that is not a precursor of what's to come for August and September. Of course, September 10th, the peak of hurricane season. That's usually when activity really starts to ramp up and those conditions out there over that warm water become more ideal for these tropical storms and hurricanes to develop. But we've got to get all the way through the end of November before we can give you the all clear. So of course, keep it here. We'll be doing these updates every single day during hurricane season to keep you up to date on exactly what's up, what's going on out there in the tropics. So here's the good news. Nothing coming at us from the tropics, but we've still got a lot of crazy weather to deal with. It's been that way really for most of the year, just a lot of weather extremes, a ton of rain. In fact, for Bush Intercontinental Airport since January 1st. So we were saying Happy New Year, welcome 2024. 42.77 inches of rain. Last year at this time, we were only around 29.97 inches of rain. We average about 27.9 inches. So hobbies since the beginning of the year, almost 38 inches of rain. Last year at this time, close to 21 inches of rain. Same deal for Galveston. So far this year, almost 35 inches of rain. We average about 21 inches of rain. And last year at this time, we were only around 15.91 inches of rain. So everybody well above the norm. So you wonder, why do we keep getting so much flooding? Because the ground is saturated. We really can't take much more rain, and we just keep getting all of these waves of heavy rain. Huntsville since January 1st, over 60 inches of rain. That is hard to believe. We're only halfway through the year